This is Jack Owen from 6 Feet Under, and you are listening to the DIEnecology Podcast. Crank it.
Do you ever fantasize about being killed? About all the different ways of dying?
Is it to awaken and feel the passing of time? Or is it the failing beat of your own heart?
They learned parts of a dismembered female body had been found in a remote corner of San Bernardino County. Why was her skull left outside a local restaurant? And where is the rest of her body?
Death is only the beginning.
Corey Gore Christ, DIEnecology Podcast. I am your DIEnecologist. I am honored to to welcome Jack Owen of 6 Feet Under here to talk about Killing for Revenge. It came out May 10th on Metal Blade Records. It's a front to back sick, man. It's such a good record.
Cool.
And we'll
Thank you.
Talk a little bit about that and the release. And it's been a few years since the last album came out, so I guess just starting off, just how you doing, man?
Good. Hanging in there. This is my last interview of the season, maybe.
Awesome. It's great to have you, man.
Mhm.
And I guess talk a little bit about Killing for Revenge just before we get into the blood and guts of the rest, the second half of this podcast we do. Just like to get everybody the feel for the record itself and what it's about and just the recording process, everything you want to talk about for the record.
Cool. Yeah, I started writing and thinking 2022 when I got my little studio set up in my house here.
Nice.
And I got a drum program called Easy Drummer. Every guitar player needs to get that. So
Yeah.
150, $200.
Nice.
It's not just writing beats, it's writing beats and making them into songs. So
Yeah.
Once you get that, you just start rolling. And I have a riff archive that I dig into, and some things come to me in dreams. So once I started rolling, I think I wrote it all together as one unit and sent the music off to Chris. He was like, everything sounds good.
Yeah.
And I had a lyrical idea for Accomplice to Evil Deeds. And since I'm on a multi-track here, I started laying down vocals just to show where the lyrics go. And he was like, sounds good, man. Keep going with the lyrics. So it was nice to relieve the burden on him because he's been writing lyrics like 100% of the albums for decades. So
Right.
It was partially that, and he's got faith in me to write lyrics that he likes, and I have faith in him to deliver. So it's all about faith, man.
Yeah, absolutely. And it really does deliver because, I mean, you guys put out such an awesome record. It's, the best one in years, in my opinion. Not to say the other ones weren't good, but I mean, like, this one stands out to me.
Thanks.
For a 6 Feet album. I mean, it's just, it's sick, man.
We're such a polarizing band. Like, some people hate it, and most people love it. But
that's a good thing,
Uniquely American thing is trolling, and I think no matter if we did Led Zeppelin 4, the trolls would just come out and say, you should retire.
I'm glad you guys are still making music, and you guys are always still on top of it every time to remind people, that you guys kind of help start this whole genre and still doing it and still contributing to it in a big way and making awesome records. So that's a huge plus in my opinion.
Cool. Thanks, man.
Being able to still do it after all this time and do it well and effectively. So I guess to segue into what we really talk about, you wrote a lot of lyrics for this album, and you've written for Cannibal in the past, a lot of your other bands too. So I guess talk about some of the lyrical process or kind of how you came up with the themes for everything.
Yeah, just a million ways to write lyrics these days.
Right.
Back in the day, Back in the day, it was like horror movies, a
Yeah.
little bit of news. Now it's like there's networks on cable
Yeah.
dedicated to true crime
Yeah.
and everything you want on the internet. So yeah, a little bit of everything. Hatred for the human race or the American human race, really.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Stuff that came to me in dreams, like accomplice to evil deeds. Well, I'm sure you've heard it's about me and Corpse Grinder, and he's killing people in a shack in the woods, and I was his accomplice. I got up and wrote that one in like 10 minutes.
Nice.
Ascension was based on Shakespeare's Macbeth.
Okay.
So the lyrics are really simple, as I've gathered from comments.
Yeah. Yeah.
But, what am I going to do? Write them in folklore English. What for two, and they'll fall blood for your blood.
Right. Yeah. It's, and I think with the genre specifically, it doesn't really need to be, it's fine to be simple. You kind of need it to be in a way,
Yeah.
'cause
Some lyrics and vocal deliveries, just syllables with no lyrics.
right. Yeah.
Like Ghost Bath or Old Obituary.
Yeah.
No lyrics.
They're just, doing their screams and
Yep. Then we've
making it
got
sound brutal,
Hostility Against Mankind, Judgment Day,
Yeah.
Bit of Carnage are pretty much eliminating people one at a time or all at once. Compulsive is just trapped in a uh, infirmary, and the
Yeah.
only way to survive is to eat yourself. So it's just like consuming until you're gone.
Self-cannibalism. Yeah. There you go.
Yeah.
Nice.
Neanderthal was one I was taking a break and writing slow songs, and there's a show on Adult Swim called Tartakovsky's Primal.
Yeah. Yeah.
Awesome show. It's like really theatrical about cavemen and dinosaurs and shit. I don't know if they ever coexisted, but they do on, on the show.
Yeah.
So yeah, very influential on that. Bestial Savagery, Tornado. It's like a mass shooting. You don't really see the gore that's happening in a mass shooting on the
Right.
news. But in a tornado, I'm sure there's a lot of body parts flying and stuff.
Yeah, and you don't really think about it. There's a lot of debris in the air. It's like, oh,
Yeah.
I think that's an arm also.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Look at all the wood.
Yeah, like
Yeah, there's a
human
head.
debris.
And then a second tornado comes right through the same area and destroys what's left.
Yeah, yeah. I've been watching a lot of those videos recently. Just like,
Yeah, it's a
I'm
lot.
fascinated by tornadoes and shit.
Yeah,
So, speaking of Kansas City,
yeah.
Missouri's had some pretty bad ones over the years.
Mhm.
So, seeing the death tolls on that, and it's pretty wild, man.
Yeah, that one in Barnsdall, I think, in Texas or
Yeah.
Oklahoma. Whew, the whole town eliminated.
Just gone.
Crazy.
And you watch something like they have like something called tornado scarring, where if you look on like Google Maps, if it was like an F4, F5 tornado, you could still see like the path it took on some like from Google Maps. Like even
Sure.
though if they built stuff around it, you can see where like the grass or the soil never really grew back and
Yeah,
like a
Like a-
mile
yeah.
long.
yeah,
Yeah.
like a burn scar,
That's pretty crazy, man.
tornado scar.
I bet it's exciting. So yeah, like I said, the record sounds killer. It's out now, so y'all should pick it up or download it, stream it, whatever you do. Just show support to these guys. Seems worked hard on the record.
Yeah.
Sounds sick.
Friend of mine found it in a record store, and I was like, "Well, you can't miss it by the artwork."
Yeah. It's Vincent Locke, which is awesome.
Yeah.
You got that piece, also still going.
Mhm.
Vincent Locke and Chris Barnes and Jack Owen doesn't get much better than that. And then the Brain Drill guys, and that's really cool.
Yeah, somebody
Yeah.
said we should write stuff like Archspire, and I was like, "You want 6 Feet Under to sound like that? That's
does-
great for them."
It's like the exact opposite of 6 Feet Under.
Could you imagine? Next 6 Feet Under, all Archspire style.
Yeah, just Canadian tech death now. That's what we do.
Yeah.
That would kind of take away from the everything that 6 Feet Under does, which is just
Yeah.
being old school.
We'd rather
death
sound more
metal.
like Tomb Mold than Archspire.
Right.
If we're going Canadian.
Yeah, sure. So yeah, the second half I like to talk about is just really just death itself and
Mm,
how it influences not just this genre, but us as writers and as,
yeah,
people and how we deal with it. And we have this genre to channel things into because I think a lot of people don't really have a way to express
sure.
um, like seeing death or experiencing it or,
Hmm.
having, experience tragedy, stuff like that. So I think death
Yeah,
metal is a good medium for that. And
yeah,
it's kind of misunderstood medium too, because it seems like, we glorify it and all that, which in a way it seems like, sure, we do, but it's more
yeah,
or less like a good positive way to cope with it because it's all around us, whether we like it or not. As you said,
sure.
it's in the news, it's on the
Yeah,
TV,
it's
and
there.
we can put a positive spin on it to be like, yeah, it's
Mhm.
awesome. This guy's, limbs
Mhm.
got tore off or thrown in a wood chipper, something like that. But
Yeah,
it's not like we wanted it, when we're talking about these things, it's fictional,
yeah,
it's imagination. So when you imagine it, sure, it seems pretty fun and exciting.
mhm,
Um, but the reality of death is not, we
yeah,
kind of have to turn it into something else and something that everybody can relate to, but also be like, yeah, it's fun to imagine it, but then when it really happens, it's not so fun. So
yeah.
I guess, talk about your experiences with that and how you kind of, lyrically and just mentally you prepare and deal with these kind of things.
Yeah, some of my earliest recurring nightmares were being buried alive or being cremated alive
Ooh,
or
those are rough.
having relatives, going into the cremation oven and
Oh
they're
my
still
God.
alive and you're jumping
Yeah.
on the coffin.
Jesus.
So I guess after psychoanalysis, it's like that's how we deal with death.
Yeah, sure.
And maybe that's where the whole thing comes from seeking out heavy music and
Sure.
horror movies. And we need a little analysis of where that came from.
Exactly. Yeah.
But that's the way I got into it. And maybe, yeah, it's coping with death itself,
Hmm.
confronting it,
Yeah.
reading about it, watching it, you know. And now we're just horror fiction writers.
Basically, yeah.
And I'm sure everybody's waiting for the first person to act out what they wrote on a death metal album.
Right.
But it hasn't happened, and I don't think it will. It's like I'm
Yeah.
going to go out and perform all the stuff on this album.
Yeah.
No, I doubt it.
On a guitar, yes. Uh,
Yeah.
that's our weapon
But,
of choice.
yeah.
Yeah, and it's fascinating to me how you can be outside looking in, and you think it kind of
Yeah.
scares people because they're like, these people are fucking nuts. Like,
Yeah.
well, I mean, in a way, yeah, I guess we are, but not
Yeah.
in a way where we're like not gonna act on these fantasies or whatever. Um,
Yeah.
but it's just weird how you can be comfortable with it because I know a lot of people just aren't. They don't think about, I can watch a horror movie and see people getting killed off one by one, and I'll laugh. Like I think
Mhm.
the kills are hilarious.
Yeah. It's a
And I've
coping
had some people
mechanism.
in the theater look back and be like, "The
Mhm.
fuck, this guy is crazy." Like, no, I just have a good time, man. This is ridiculous.
Yeah.
It's just all effects and it's fun and it's
Yeah.
supernatural most of the time. So,
Mhm.
um,
Turning like as a coping mechanism, and then
yeah,
we've been so desensitized over the decades.
yeah. And I think, it's nothing to be afraid of. It's going to happen whether we like it or not. And
Yep.
hopefully we don't see really any of the things we talk about on here. Like, especially stuff like, I mean, obviously zombie stuff like that. Hopefully that never happens. You never fucking know.
Yeah, you never know.
Um, but, you know, it's better to just have an imagination and
Mhm.
your brain already works that way. Like I said, with your having nightmares and stuff.
Yeah.
My nightmares are always pretty ridiculous. Like they're not, they make zero sense. Uh,
Right.
don't really have a story to them. Uh,
Yeah.
it's
If
just,
they if
I'm
they do, you got to put it in a song.
yeah, all right.
But yeah, forgot what I was gonna say. But on to the next topic of life.
Yeah, right. Yeah. But,
So,
that's what we do really is just kind of shed light like, hey, people in death metal aren't crazy. We just have an imagination and
yeah,
are
we're
more
just
comfortable with talking about these kind of things because somebody has to, right?
Yeah, we're just like horror fiction writers.
Yeah. And then, transitioning from that. So,
Mhm.
with some of the lyrics you contributed to, in the past and everything, because you've written quite a bit,
Mhm.
how would you say from there till now, if anything's changed, or are you still pretty much just writing the way you always have?
About the same, I think.
Yeah.
I wrote Shredded Humans on the first Cannibal album,
Right.
and that was just basically about a car crash, which
Yeah.
could probably happen that way.
Right. Sure.
So, yep, and then zombies, and then I took a break while Chris took over for Cannibal, and then I wrote for Cannibal with Corpse Grinder,
Yeah.
and that was a lot of horror, sci-fi. Decency Defied was about
Yeah.
a friend that did have a nightmare that her tattoos were being torn off.
Oh shit. Yeah.
So yeah, it was easy to make the video for that one. It's like
Yeah.
they were cutting them off and hanging them up on a clothesline to
Yeah.
display them.
Jesus. And where do you think like your nightmares come from?
Man, I don't know.
Like
Is it more
inspired.
is like true crime or is it more from horror movies?
Right.
Does it come from fiction or reality?
Yeah.
Man, it
It's like
depends
it's
on what you eat before you go to bed.
I guess so, man. You
Raw
know.
meat.
Yeah, I gotta stay out of that raw meat, man.
Yeah. Make sure you cook the bacon before you eat it.
Or you can make some of the best death metal songs of all time.
Yeah, right.
Whatever your trade off is, if
Yeah.
you suffer through some of the nightmares, deal with it. uh, what was it like working with Vincent Locke again? I guess talk about that because
Man,
that's pretty awesome.
Yeah, I think we had another guy in mind that Chris wrote to Vince, and he was like,
Mm.
"Yeah, let me check with the Cannibal guys." And he was like, "Yeah, sure, no problem."
All right.
And he did some sketches based on song titles. Some were like sci-fi, like zombies on another planet with
Yeah.
the car from Evil Dead,
Huh.
and one
Nice.
came back and it was like accomplice to evil deeds, like the head
Yeah.
on a pole in a shack. And I was like, perfect. We'll use
Yeah.
that one. And he had glaucoma surgery, or
Hmm.
I forget what he had, laser surgery on his eyes.
Wow.
So it took a little bit to get the art back. But when we got it, it was like, yeah, oh yeah.
Yeah. As soon as you see it, like especially old school death metal fans, they're just like, that's
Yeah.
Vincent Locke. There's no question.
Yeah. We were going for a burnt blood kind of color that was
Yeah.
used on Tomb of the Mutilated,
Hmm.
the censored cover.
Yeah. Yeah.
So yeah, it kind of sticks out. The CD looks like brighter and more red for
Yeah.
some reason, but hey, that's cool. Like King Charles's new portrait.
Yeah. Well, I keep seeing that everywhere and don't really know like
I'm
where
like, he's covered in butterflies and flowers. I'm like, no, it looks like fucking body parts and blood.
it looks like he's in hell.
Yeah,
Kind of.
totally. It's a great album cover.
People are putting like other people's faces on it. I'm pretty sure someone put Chris's face on it. I've seen that already. So,
Awesome.
or one of the fellas here in the artwork I'm looking at for Killing for Revenge. I think somebody had already done that and put
Oh,
one of the
cool.
faces on it. So
Yeah,
that's
awesome.
pretty fun. There's all kinds of, the death metal kids always find a way to meme up everything these days. So,
Yeah, well,
um,
the king
so
until he's dead.
yeah. Did that come out today or yesterday or? I mean,
Seems like yesterday.
yeah.
It's
It's
funny
like
how everything takes off like
you don't know where the hell it came from. It's like, where does
yeah.
this portrait come from? Like, did they officially release that in the public and then people are just now? I mean,
Yeah,
I
I
don't know.
wonder if he saw it before he unveiled it.
I don't think he still knows what it is, really. It's
Yeah,
like,
he's standing in front of it going, "Yep, that's how it's supposed to look."
it's like
I'm
you're
like,
gonna
"What?
hang it up. Okay.
Go ahead,
I'd,
dude.
I'd put that in storage with everything else, your other art.
Yeah, let's
Um,
try again."
so what's next for 6 Feet Under? You guys are planning some shows or
Yeah,
continuing writing or
yeah, waiting for tours to roll in. We got some ideas, but nothing's confirmed, and it's
yeah.
way out anyway to like
Hmm.
fall in 2025.
Sure.
So if we get some good numbers on the album, hopefully something will pop up before that.
Yeah.
And be confirmed. I have my studio, so I'm always writing. So I have another album or more of material
Awesome.
for that and other projects. And yeah, keep going. If I'm not writing riffs, I'm writing songs and or just writing drum beats to
Yeah,
play.
yeah.
So keep on rolling
Hell yeah. And
like Argo Speedwagon.
that's right. The same thing with lyrics too. Like whenever you get an idea, you just kind of write some stuff down or
Yeah, they come pretty quick. So I usually write till music's done. If I don't have an idea, I'll just put some patterns on it and then write
yeah.
to that. And I use a book of American poetry
Hmm.
to, I just read while the music's playing, and
Yeah.
sometimes the whole poem will just like fit right into a song.
Nice.
And it's about stupid shit, so I can't use it.
Yeah.
One was about somebody's house burning down, and that was
Mhm.
kind of cool. And but yeah,
It's
it's
kind of
really
cool.
just to get some patterns on in fiction.
Yeah, fiction. Yeah, right. This house is burning down. It's kind of cool, you know.
Upon the burning of our house.
Yeah. Hey, if it fits, you know, use it.
Yeah.
But yeah, man, this it's been awesome talking to you. You know, it's
Oh man, you
seen
too.
you guys, seen you throughout the years and all your bands. You know,
Right on.
so looking forward to hopefully catching you with 6 Feet Under. And
Yeah.
I don't remember if I have or not. To be
No,
honest, I don't
we
remember
haven't toured America since
That's
like
right.
2012 or something.
Yeah, yeah. That's yeah, definitely the last time I saw 6 Feet, but I don't know if you were in the band yet.
Mm-mm.
If you've played for 6 Feet in the
Nope.
US, I don't think you have. Um, so yeah, I think the last time I saw you was probably in DIEcide.
Oh
Um,
yeah. Yeah.
yeah, so that's crazy. But yeah, you know, the album's killer, obviously. Killing for Revenge is killer. That came out May 10th on Metal Blade Records. Got all kinds of formats. I'll put the links on here so
Link it
everyone
up.
can
Jam it. Which
click
color is
that
it?
and jam it, play it.
Oh, it's the black vinyl.
Yeah,
I
and I
weighed
love that.
It's actually 180 grams.
Yeah,
Like 179, 180.
it's close enough. You know,
Close
20.
enough.
You got to round it up.
Yeah.
But yeah, there's so many formats, and especially with the Vincent Locke artwork, it's so good to have the physical media. I'm still a physical media buyer myself, so hopefully people pick it up and
Yeah.
you know, stream it also, do what you do, but listen to the record, support the band.
Yeah.
And
It's vinyl because the artwork just kicks ass on that
yeah,
one.
for sure. You're owning a piece of Vincent Locke art, so that's definitely important to do that. But yeah, thank you so much for coming on, talking for a little bit,
Right
talking
on.
about the record. It's a fucking awesome record, and I'm glad for you guys. Hopefully, it does well enough. You guys do a lot of touring, and hopefully come back to the U.S. That'd be awesome.
Heck yeah.
Do some U.S. shows here.
We'll play anywhere.
Yeah, man. Yeah, thank you so much for your time, man. And this being probably your last interview, hopefully you had fun and you know, come on again sometime and enjoy the rest of your day. And if you don't have interviews, enjoy the rest of your time, man.
Thank you. Thank you, man.
Hopefully
Stay
we'll
safe
see you sometime.
with metal.